Hello and welcome to Mtoto News Insight. My name is Mwangi Ngaii. In our stories today, World Vision held Angaza na Maji Run or Walk on Saturday, 4th May 2019, aiming to provide marginalized communities in Kenya to access clean water at reduced distances. Miriam Jomo has the report.
World Vision's Angaza na Maji held a 6-kilometer run or walk on the 4th of May, seeking to mobilize Kenyans to join hands with World Vision to ensure vulnerable communities in Kenya access clean water at reduced distances.
Today we are here because every child, even the small one, deserves clean water. To make this dream come true, it is my joy and privilege this morning to launch World Vision's 6-kilometer run or walk, dubbed Angaza na Maji.
The run was from World Vision offices along Karen Road, through Miotoni, Nadi Road, and then through Ngong Road and back to their offices.
We are proud that we were able to provide access to basic or improved drinking water to over 180,000 vulnerable people spread across 17 counties in Kenya, including 147 educational facilities. Today, we're calling you to join us to help provide life-changing clean water to 1,200 families in Magunga, Homa Bay County and beyond.
6 kilometers is the average distance children and women walk to collect unsafe drinking water, which exposes them to diseases like diarrhea and cholera. The long water collection journey also causes children to experience physical pain and fatigue. This prevents them from participating fully in other life activities like going to school or playing with their friends.
And it's very hard to run for 6 kilometers to go for water. And for the children in Homa Bay, if this is the pain they go through, this is a lot of pain. This is sad. So for the children in Homa Bay, can we please help them raise money for them to get water?
By bringing clean water closer to their homes, World Vision hopes to remove these barriers so that communities can enjoy life in all its fullness. Through the 2019 Angaza na Maji walk or run, World Vision seeks to raise over 5 million Kenya shillings to benefit 1,200 families in Sanjeru community in Magunga, Homa Bay County.
I felt bad today that children in Homa Bay have to travel 6 kilometers or more to the water point and back. But because of World Vision, they made it better. They committed a lot of money to make the water point better.
The impact and significance of water in our lives cannot be underestimated, especially now when the country is witnessing intermittent rainfall patterns as well as predictions of long drought spells that can have devastating effects in our communities.
I know it is my responsibility, but I also know that water is an enabler. For everything we do, we need water. I am praying and I have a vision that one day the people of Homa Bay will wake up and they will meet water in a tap next to their house.
Schools reopened for second term on 29th April as scheduled by the government, and the term is expected to run until 2nd August 2019. However, there seems to be a rift between the parents and the government regarding the new curriculum. Anne Wamboi with more.
The second term of 2019 is scheduled to run for 14 weeks with a midterm break as per the government date through the Ministry of Education. Class 8 and Form 4 candidates are counting a few months before they move to the next level of their lives as they prepare for the national exams respectively towards the end of the year. On the other hand, parents seem to be having rather a different feel about the back to school as the prices of every detail has gone up, from shopping to uniforms.
Gharama ni juu, manake unakuta uniform kenda kuangalia si vile ulikuwa unatarajia, unakuta bei imepanda kidogo na mtoto si mmoja.
On the other end, publishers have threatened not to supply books due to the high debts with the government.
Have stocks. Behind you are stocks that have accumulated for years. These stocks are now the books that already the government is supplying to schools. Had they devised a method of fast removing to schools those books that are with the booksellers, it could have been so good, instead of publishers printing others.
The government has since been supplying books directly to the public schools, and this stirs confusion for parents who are meant to buy books for their children despite the 1-to-1 book-to-child ratio advised by the government.
As parents, we are confused, tuko shocked, hatujui cha kufanya. Tunaambiwa system ni tunarudi shule inatuambia ni, so we are just confused. Wale tulikuwa tumefanya early budgets, tuko in shock cause shule inatutumia message, the books we had said you buy sio hizo, nunueni hizi.
From Toto News, I am Anne Wambui.
The National Gender and Equality Commission held a review meeting on the ongoing debate to reduce age consent from 18 to 16. The meeting had representatives from religious organizations, civil societies, youth, and academics. The consensus in the room was that age of consent should remain at 18 years. However, measures should be taken to protect children found with sexual offenses. Transparency International held a public forum on the 1st May Global Action Week for Education in Nairobi. There was representation from the education sector, including those from the Finance, Curriculum, Reforms, Kenya National Union of Teachers, and Teachers Service Commission. Among the themes discussed included corruption, change in the curriculum structure, accountability in education, sexual education in schools, and grabbing of school lands.
Ensuring that children are going to school, yeah? So in 2003, the government introduced free primary education, and of course that came with its benefits. Of course, we saw an increased enrollment, we saw increased access to education, but it also came with its own challenges, yeah? So we saw a very huge gap between the infrastructure that was in the schools and the enrollments that came about. We saw a big push towards ensuring that the teacher-student population ratio is stabilized, which we are still struggling with till date, and quite a few infrastructural problems, instructional. So the quality of education as a whole was affected. So we managed to push on access to information, on access to education. We managed to push on affordability of education, but there are still some gaps. And the same thing can be said of 2008 when free secondary tuition was introduced. And the same persistent issues came with that. And then we made it further to the Constitution, that now we have the Constitution of Kenya saying that every child has a right to free basic education. Yeah?
A teacher should be posted where he is culturally attached, ethnical attachment, because a teacher starts teaching even when walking in a compound. I looked at a Kisi teacher in my own school at home in Radieda constituency, where I'm the patron. Then I said, what is all this? In a parents' meeting, there's somebody to interpret to the head teacher what parents are saying. So where are we headed to? There are some things that we're not getting right. We know that there should be cohesion, national cohesion, but is this the duty of teachers? This is the duty of politicians who created a rift among ethnic communities. It is not the duty of a teacher to actually engage in coercing communities into agreeing.
Elsewhere, teenage pregnancies are on the rise according to data from the Kisumu Health Office, with over 9,000 pregnancy cases of girls aged between 10 and 19 of 2018. This calls for a candid conversation on this issue. Lastly, do you know about cerebral palsy? Do you know that it affects children even before birth? It is a condition that affects muscle tones and movement skills that hinders them ability to move in a coordinated way. Mwangi Ngaii has the story.
Cerebral palsy, also known as CP, is caused by brain damage that happens before or during a baby's birth or during the first 3 to 5 years of a child's life. According to the Center for Disease Control 2017, there are 17 million people living in the world with CP. In Kenya, an estimated 3 in 100 children are living with CP. My family and I went to Kitui village in Machakos County to give a wheelchair to a 14-year-old boy with CP. Felix is in a family of 9 members and goes to school at St. Francis Primary School, Misiani. He has only access to a wheelchair in his boarding school, therefore making mobility at home difficult. Children with CP need financial support, wheelchairs, access to physical and speech therapy. Our call to action to parents is to stop hiding their children with disabilities, community members to identify and help families affected with various types of disabilities, and to the government to provide free education resources to make their children grow and learn in better environment. From Total News, I am Mwangi Ngaii.
That is all we had for you today. For more, visit www.mtotonews.com and our social media pages at Mtoto News. I am Mwangi Ngaii.